A 7th-round rookie is shaking up the backfield while a rookie tight end has teammates talking differently about the offense. But the most explosive news is that our star WR has just declared war for the WR1 spot. Chicago is about to change. Forever. And what's coming will blow your mind. Stay tuned because it's only getting better. Do you think a 7th-round rookie can change the entire dynamics of a backfield? I'll tell you this. When Ben Johnson says he's going to trust a guy who was the 256th pick in the draft, you'd better pay attention because something special is happening at Hallis Hall. After years of watching this team bet on big names that let us down, I remember when we brought in Jordan Howard and thought he was the solution. When David Montgomery gave us hope but never quite exploded, we finally have a guy who understands that every practice is an audition for greatness. Kyle Monangai came from Rutgers without much noise, without expectations, and without ESPN mentioning him once during the draft. And you know what? That's exactly what we needed in Chi-Town. A hungry guy who understands this city doesn't forgive mediocrity, that every carry is an opportunity to show the other 31 teams were completely wrong to ignore him. But here come the stats that have me on edge. 1,279 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns in 2024. 1,262 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2023. Do you understand what it means to average 5.1 yards per carry in 2 consecutive years in the Big Ten? We're not talking about a coincidence. And do you know why these numbers are brutal? Because the Big Ten is a conference that eats you alive if you don't have the physicality. Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan State, all those teams with defenses that devour average runners. And this guy not only survived, he dominated. But the statistics are just the tip of the iceberg. Bear Nation. I've heard from Hallis Hall that when Monangai enters the video room with offensive coordinator Declan Doyle, he shows up the next day on the recordings executing exactly what was discussed. You don't have to tell him twice. You don't have to explain it again. Do you know what that means in the NFL? I'll tell you this. It means we have a football mind that understands complex concepts on the first try. In a league where veterans need 3 reps to understand a blocking scheme, change. This 22-year-old rookie is processing information like a 10-year vet. And you know why this excites me so much? Because after the Trubisky era, after seeing Justin Fields struggle with the complexity of offensive systems, we finally have a player who is not only athletically superior, but mentally prepared for the next level. Ben Johnson, the same coordinator, who transformed the Lions into an offensive machine, who made Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery the best running back duo in the NFL, is publicly saying, I've been very pleased with where Kyle is at. I think he's a guy we're going to be able to rely on this fall. Did you hear that word? Rely in the modern NFL. That word is worth more than the millions we spend in free agency. Relying means he can stay on the field on 3rd and short. Relying means they're not going to pull him in pressure situations. Relying means that when DeAndre Swift needs a breather, we're not going to panic thinking we've lost effectiveness. But do you know what I like most about this guy? His underdog mentality is perfect for Chicago. He comes from a hard-working family in New Jersey, had to earn every opportunity at Rutgers. Never was the star kid that all the recruiting services followed. That's pure Chicago DNA, baby. When Matt Eberflus talks about building the right way, about having players who understand what it means to represent the Bears, he's talking exactly about Kyle Monangai, a guy who knows nothing is going to be handed to him, who understands that in this city, we respect hard work more than famous names. I believe this guy is going to be that surprise no one sees coming. We're not talking about a simple backup that comes in when the starter gets injured. We're talking about a player who can force defensive coordinators to keep specific packages for him, who can change game plans, who can be that secret card bender. Johnson pulls in key moments. And you know why this is great timing? Because DeAndre Swift, for all the respect I have for him, is coming off years of injuries in Detroit. Roshan Johnson has experience, but lacks that extra explosiveness. The window is open for a hungry rookie to step in and steal the show. If that surprises you, wait to hear this. You'd be crazy to think Monangai is the only bombshell surprise from this rookie class. Because Colston Loveland is making even veterans like Odunze, a guy vying to be WR1, change completely the way they talk about this Chicago offense. After Years of suffering with tight ends who couldn't run routes, who couldn't separate from linebackers, who basically telegraphed whether the play was a run or pass. Remember Jimmy Graham trying to pretend he was still 25? We finally have a specimen that's opening eyes from day one of training camp. Do you know how significant it is when Rome Odunze, a receiver who came from Washington with credentials, tells ESPN that this rookie tight end just looks different on the field? I'll tell you this. It means Loveland is doing things in practice that are forcing the entire offense to think differently. The 10th overall draft pick didn't get there by chance, Bear Nation. This kid from Michigan has mind-blowing numbers. 6'5", 245 pounds, running a 4.6 40-yard dash. But do you know what's most important? Hands like an elite receiver, route running like a veteran slot receiver, and the football intelligence to read defenses like a 10-year quarterback. But here's the part that has me most excited. At Michigan, Loveland wasn't just an easy target. In his senior season, 56 receptions, 649 yards, 5 touchdowns. Do you know what that means in Jim Harbaugh's system? It means he was the guy when Michigan needed clutch conversions, when they needed someone reliable in pressure situations. And why is that crucial for us? Because Ben Johnson has already shown in Detroit what he can do with a tight end who understands leverage. Sam Laporta last year, 86 receptions, 889 yards, 10 touchdowns as a rookie. Do you think it's a coincidence that Johnson is publicly praising Loveland before the games that count start? Ryan Poles explains it perfectly, and it gives me chills every time I hear it. That forces an impossible decision for defensive coordinators. Do you go big to stop the run, or do you have to respect Loveland's athleticism and ability to separate on routes where you have to go light on coverage? That's a strategic advantage before the play even starts. Do you understand how revolutionary that is for an offense that was predictable for years? With Loveland on the field, defenses can't cheat toward run support because they know he can release to the slot and burn any linebacker trying to cover him man to man. They can't go nickel because he's too physical for small safeties. But here's the beauty of the pick. Loveland isn't just a mismatch receiver disguised as a tight end. He's a solid blocker who can do the dirty work this offense needs. 3rd and short against teams like the Packers going all-out blitz, goal line situations against defenses trying to stack the box, 2-minute drill when you need every yard. He can stay on the field in any situation without compromising the game plan. And you know what a source inside the building tells me? When they practice red zone, Loveland is finding soft spots in coverage that veteran tight ends on other teams don't see. He's running comeback routes that leave linebackers guessing and seam patterns that force safeties to make split-second decisions. Luther Burden III is also showing incredible flashes as WR3 with after-the-catch skills impressing veteran coaches. Rome Odunze sums it up perfectly. It's tough for defenses to keep track of all of us when we have so many dynamic options. Do you understand the nightmare that represents for defensive coordinators? Imagine this scenario. 1st down on the 20-yard line. Loveland aligned as inline tight end. Odunze split out wide. DJ Moore in motion. Burden in the slot. How does the defense react? If they go heavy to stop the run, Loveland releases on a seam that could be an automatic touchdown. If they go light, DeAndre Swift has huge gaps to exploit. Ben Johnson comes from an offense in Detroit that finished #1 in scoring. He's already proven he can maximize the talent of young tight ends. The chemistry he's developing with Caleb Williams during training camp, according to sources, is ahead of schedule compared to most rookie tight ends. I believe we're witnessing the evolution of a player who's going to be a matchup nightmare for the NFC North Division for years. While the Packers wait for Luke Musgrave to develop, while the Vikings try to replace what they lost with Kirk Cousins, we have a rookie tight end who can create instant offense from day one. Do you think Loveland can be offensive rookie of the year? Because after seeing how Ben Johnson develops players, after seeing the athletic profile, after hearing veteran teammates talk differently about the offense, I am convinced we're about to witness something special. But here's the real crazy part. I can't believe what I just heard coming out of Rome Odunze's mouth. This 2nd-year kid just launched a war declaration that will define not only the receiver's depth chart, but the complete identity of this offense for the next 5 years. After A rookie season where we all expected more. 54 receptions, 734 yards, 3 touchdowns aren't numbers that make you jump out of your seat. Odunze tells Jeremy Fowler of ESPN directly, "I think I deserve, based on what I put on the practice field and my preparation, to be an option on every single play this offense runs." Every play. Bear Nation, do you understand the audacity it takes to make that declaration publicly? We're talking about a 23-year-old looking at DJ Moore, a receiver who's had 3,000 plus yard seasons, and saying, "I belong on your level." But do you know what I like most about this declaration? The immediate maturity he shows afterward. But at the end of the day, in a receiver room, I don't believe in receiver 1, receiver 2, receiver 3. I think we all have to come together to create the best possible group of receivers in the league. That's true leadership, people. He's sending a clear message to the entire organization. I'm ready for responsibility, but we're going to win as a team. He's declaring his value without disrespecting veterans. He's showing hunger without arrogance. That's exactly the mentality we need in Chicago. Now, let's be brutally honest about last year. 54 receptions, 734 yards, 3 touchdowns for a receiver drafted in the top 10. Those numbers are not up to par with expectations. But do you know what? Context is everything in this league. And the context of 2024 was a complete disaster. Caleb Williams was the most sacked quarterback in the entire NFL. 68 sacks. Bear Nation, 68. Shane Waldron, as offensive coordinator, didn't know if he was in Chicago or on the moon. The offensive line was so inconsistent that Williams was running for his life 60% of the snaps. How do you expect a rookie receiver to develop chemistry with a rookie quarterback when the pocket collapses before routes develop? How do you expect production when the game plan changes every week because the coordinator is more lost than a tourist on the south side? But here's what has me excited about Odunze's words. He says, "I'm just trying to carry that momentum from the end of last year and expand it into my entire route tree. Contested catches, versatility, all those things I kept from Washington." Do you remember how the season ended? The last 4 games, Odunze started showing flashes of what he can be. 23 receptions, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns. More importantly, started showing that fearlessness over the middle, that willingness to make tough catches in traffic. I'll tell you this, that is the mindset of a player who studied his tape, identified his strengths, is ready to take them to the next level. Contested catches, route running versatility, reliability, and clutch moments, those are exactly the characteristics of a true WR1. And you know why now everything is different? Because Rome won't have excuses this season. Ben Johnson is calling plays. The same coordinator who made Amon-Ra St. Brown a superstar, who maximized every receiver in Detroit. We have an offensive line that cost over $100 million in free agency. Caleb Williams has a full season of experience and is looking more comfortable every day. The expectations, according to sources inside the organization, are a minimum of 1,100 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. Anything less than that will be considered a disappointing season. But you know what? I believe this guy is mentally prepared to exceed those expectations by a mile, DJ. Moore is still elite talent, make no mistake. 3 straight seasons with 1,100 plus yards don't happen by accident. But when you have a 23-year-old publicly declaring he's ready to be the option on every play with the physical tools we know he has, with our perfect system to maximize his abilities, we're talking about something special. Look at these Washington numbers: 92 receptions, 1,640 yards, 13 touchdowns in his final season. Do you think those numbers were an accident? No! They were the result of a receiver who understands how to create separation, who knows how to win contested catches, who has the mental toughness to be the guy when games are on the line. And do you know what convinces me more than anything? During training camp, veterans are talking differently about Rome. Sources tell me his route running is sharper than anything we saw last year, that his chemistry with Caleb is developing faster than expected, that his confidence level is through the roof compared to rookie season. Ben Johnson specifically mentioned that Odunze is showing the leadership qualities and preparation habits we want from our top receivers. When a coordinator uses words like leadership about a second-year player, That means he's seeing intangibles that go beyond just catching passes. I believe we're about to witness the evolution of a receiver who's going to be the face of this air attack for the next 5 years. DJ Moore may be more experienced. Luther Burden may have more flash. But Odunze has that combination of size, speed, intelligence, and hunger that separates good receivers from great ones. Do you believe Odunze can be our true WR1 this season? Because after hearing these declarations, after seeing how he's preparing, after understanding that everything is perfectly aligned for his breakout, I'm completely convinced that we're about to see something truly special from number 15. Bear Nation, what we're witnessing in Lake Forest is no coincidence. Monangai represents the depth and hunger you need to be a championship contender. Loveland is that mismatch weapon that can change entire game plans. And Odunze is the evolution of a receiver ready for the true WR1 mantle. Do you believe Kyle Monangai can steal the backup job from Roschon Johnson? Think Colston Loveland is going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year? Is Odunze truly ready to be our number 1 WR1? Let me know in the comments, because this Bear Truth community is a true family. And I want to hear all your opinions. If you believe this rookie class is going to change everything, hit like immediately. If you think Odunze is going to explode this season, subscribe. Because I guarantee that tomorrow we'll have more explosive news that will blow your minds. Because you can't miss what's coming to Chicago. This silent revolution has already begun, and we will be here to cover everything. From every practice report to every game-changing moment. That's Navy and Orange, baby. The Bears. See you in the next video with more breaking news.